I remember the exact moment my world shattered. 2 in the morning, her phone glowing on the nightstand, while she slept peacefully beside me. The message preview lit up the darkness. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Tonight was amazing. 5 years of marriage, 5 years of believing we were solid, and it took one text message to reveal the lie I had been living. But what came after that discovery, what karma did to her, and what I added on top, that is the story worth telling. Before I tell you how karma came for her, and what I did to make it 10 times worse, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe, because this story takes turns you will not see coming. Now, let me take you back to where it all started to fall apart. Leah and I met at college when we were barely 20 years old. She was studying marketing, full of energy and ambition. I was an engineering student, quieter but steady. We spent 4 years dating before I proposed at the same coffee shop where we had our first date. Looking back now, maybe I should have seen the signs even then. She always wanted more excitement, more attention, more everything. But I loved her, so I thought working hard and building a stable life together would be enough. After we got married, I landed a solid job as a software engineer at a tech startup in Portland. The pay was good, steady, and it allowed us to rent a decent apartment on the outskirts of the city. Leah got hired at an advertising agency downtown. She loved the fast pace, the creative chaos, the late-night brainstorming sessions. I understood that her job demanded long hours. Advertising is not a 9-to-5 world. She would come home at 8 or 9 in the evening, sometimes later, talking about campaigns and difficult clients. I never questioned it. Why would I? We were building our future. We talked about buying a house, having kids in a couple of years. Everything seemed on track. Our life was simple but comfortable. We had our routines. Saturday mornings at the farmer's market, Sunday brunches at the diner near our place. We had couple friends we would meet for dinner every few weeks. Nothing flashy, nothing dramatic. Just normal married life. I trusted her completely. The thought of her betraying me never even crossed my mind. She was my wife, my partner, the person I planned to grow old with. Then September came and things started to shift. Leah told me she was assigned to a major new client account. Big budget, high-profile career-making opportunity. She was thrilled. I was happy for her. That is what marriage is supposed to be, right? Supporting each other's dreams. The late nights became later. 10 o'clock turned into 11, then midnight. She would walk through the door, exhausted, barely speaking, heading straight to bed. When I asked about her day, her answers became shorter, vaguer. Just tired from meetings, client demands, tight deadlines, all reasonable explanations. But other things started changing too. Her phone became an extension of her hand. She would check it constantly, even during dinner. When it rang, she would step out onto the balcony to take the call. Privacy for work, she said. I tried not to read too much into it. Then I noticed she started dressing differently for work. More effort into her appearance, more makeup, newer clothes. When I complimented her, she would shrug it off. Trying to look professional for the client, she said. I wanted to believe her. One Thursday evening in late September, I decided to surprise her. I made reservations at her favorite Italian restaurant, the one we went to for anniversaries. I texted her at 6, asking if she could get away by 7:30. She responded an hour later, saying she was too exhausted, maybe another night. I felt disappointed, but understood. Work stress is real. I ordered takeout instead and settled in for a quiet evening. Around 9, I heard her getting ready in the bedroom. I walked in to find her putting on the dress. I loved the dark blue one with the small, silver details. Where are you going? I asked. She looked startled, like she forgot I was there. Oh, just grabbing drinks with some coworkers. They want to decompress after this brutal week. She kissed my cheek and left before I could respond. I sat there on the couch, staring at the door she had just walked through. Too tired for our restaurant, but energized enough to go out with coworkers an hour later. Something felt wrong. I pushed the feeling down, told myself I was being paranoid. She deserves to have fun with her team. Stop being insecure. But the seed of doubt was planted, and it started growing. October brought more distance between us. Leah announced she had to go on a 3-day business trip to Seattle with her team. Important presentations, client meetings, strategy sessions. She would leave on a Wednesday, come back Friday night. I helped her pack, kissed her goodbye, and spent those 3 days working extra hours to keep myself distracted. She called once each day, brief conversations always rushed. Lots of people around, she said. I will call you later. Later never came. When she got back Friday night, she was different. Distant in a way I had never experienced before. She barely looked at me when she spoke. She spent the whole weekend on her phone, sometimes smiling at the screen, sometimes typing furiously. When I asked who she was texting, she said work group chat. Always work. Everything was always work. I started noticing smaller things that added up to something bigger. She changed her phone passcode. We used to know each other's codes, no secrets. Now her phone was locked tight. She kept it face down on every surface. In the shower, it sat on the bathroom counter, screen down. At night, she charged it on her side of the bed, not the nightstand we used to share. I felt crazy for noticing these things, but I could not ignore them anymore. The weekends became harder. Our couple friends invited us to a barbecue. Leah said she needed personal space, wanted to stay home and relax. I went alone, made excuses for her. The next weekend, same thing. She stopped wanting to do anything together. Movie nights ended. Saturday market trips stopped. We were living in the same apartment but existing in separate worlds. I tried to talk to her about it. Are we okay? Is something wrong? She would shut down every conversation. I am just stressed, Chase. Give me some space. Stop being clingy. The night of November 15th changed everything. I woke up at 2 a.m, throat dry, needing water. The bedroom was dark except for a small glow from Leah's side of the bed. Her phone screen was lit up, facing the ceiling. She was sound asleep next to me, breathing deeply. I should have just gotten my water and gone back to sleep. But that little voice in my head, the one I had been ignoring for months, told me to look. I picked up her phone carefully, hands shaking. The message on the lock screen made my heart stop. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Tonight was amazing. 3 heart emojis. The sender's name, Dylan. My mouth went dry. My hands trembled harder. I knew I should put the phone down. But I could not. I held it up to her face using the Face ID she had not removed me from, yet probably an oversight on her part. The phone unlocked. I opened the message thread with Dylan. My stomach turned as I scrolled up. Months of messages. Hundreds of them. Good morning texts. Good night texts. I miss you already. That meeting was torture. All I wanted was to touch you. Planning meetups. Talking about their future together. Photos. A selfie of them at a restaurant. I did not recognize her head on his shoulder. Both of them smiling, like they were the only 2 people in the world. Another photo from what looked like a hotel room. Her in a robe I had never seen before. I scrolled further back. The messages started in early September, right when she got that new client account. Dylan was not her coworker. He was the project manager from the client company. Every late night, every work excuse, every time she said she was with her team, she was with him. The Seattle trip was not a business conference. It was a getaway with Dylan. 3 days in a hotel room while I sat at home missing her like an idiot. The messages were intimate in ways that broke something inside me. She told him things she never told me. Dreams, fears, feelings. She called him baby. She said she was thinking about leaving me, but had not figured out how to do it yet. She said our marriage felt like a prison, that I was boring, that Dylan made her feel alive again. I read every word, each one a knife in my chest. My wife, the woman I had loved for 9 years, married for 5, had been living a completely different life behind my back. I put the phone back exactly where it was and walked to the kitchen. I poured water, but could not drink it. I stood there in the dark, trying to process what I had just discovered. Part of me wanted to scream, to wake her up and throw the phone in her face. Another part of me wanted to cry. But mostly, I felt numb, empty, like someone had scooped out everything inside me and left just a shell standing there. I did not sleep the rest of that night. I sat on the couch, staring at nothing, waiting for sunrise. When light finally started coming through the windows, I heard Leah stirring in the bedroom. I waited. She came out 20 minutes later, already dressed for work, grabbing her coffee mug. I was sitting at the kitchen table, her phone in front of me. "Who is Dylan?" I asked. Her face went white. The coffee mug almost slipped from her hand. "What are you talking about?" she said, but her voice cracked. I unlocked her phone and slid it across the table. The message thread with Dylan was open. She looked at the screen, then at me, then back at the screen. "Chase, I can explain." "No," I said. "You cannot. But you can tell me the truth. How long?" She sat down, tears already forming. Her hands were shaking. "It just happened," she started. I stopped her. "How long, Leah?" "Since September," she whispered. 4 months. 4 months of lying to my face every single day." "Do you love him?" I asked. She did not answer right away, which was answer enough. "I don't know," she finally said. "I think so. That hurt worse than everything else combined. Not I made a mistake. Not it meant nothing. But I think I love him." I asked her if she planned to leave me. She nodded, tears streaming now. "I was trying to figure out how to tell you. I felt like I was going to throw up. So you were just going to keep lying until you had everything figured out." She kept crying, saying she never meant to hurt me, that things just happened, that she felt trapped in our marriage, and Dylan made her feel free. I asked her one more question. "Does he know you are married?" "Yes," she said quietly. My hands clenched into fists. "Is he married?" She hesitated. "Yes. 2 kids." I stood up so fast the chair fell backward. "You are destroying another family too. You are the other woman in some man's marriage and you don't even care." She had no response to that. Just more tears, more excuses. I told her to pack her things and leave. She said she had nowhere to go. I said I did not care, that was not my problem anymore. She could go stay with Dylan and see how that worked out for her. She packed 2 suitcases, crying the whole time, saying she would come back for the rest later. She kept trying to apologize, to explain, to make me understand. I said nothing. When she finally left, I locked the door behind her and stood there in the silent apartment, surrounded by the ruins of my life. The next few days were the worst of my life. I called in sick to work. I could not eat, could not sleep. Just sat there replaying every moment of the last few months, seeing all the lies I had missed. My best friend Marcus came over when I finally responded to his texts. He found me on the couch, same clothes I had been wearing for 3 days. "Man, what happened?" he asked. I told him everything, every detail. He sat there, jaw clenched, getting angrier as the story went on. "We need to get you a lawyer," he said. "Right now." Marcus helped me find a good divorce attorney. We had a consultation that Friday. I brought the screenshots I had taken from Leah's phone before she left, evidence of the affair and the planning to leave. The lawyer said it would help in the divorce proceedings. But then, I remembered something else. I checked our joint bank account. $15,000 was missing, transferred to an account I did not recognize. I showed the lawyer. "That is illegal," she said. "She cannot withdraw significant amounts from a joint account without your knowledge, especially during a separation. We can add that to the filing." I also started digging into Dylan's life. His social media profiles were public. He had the perfect family photos. Wife named Jennifer, daughter about 7 years old, son about 5. Pictures from vacations, birthday parties, family dinners. His wife had no idea he was having an affair. Neither did his employer, apparently. Dylan worked as a marketing director at a decent-sized firm downtown. Having an affair with a vendor partner would be a huge violation of company ethics policies. I saved all of this information. I did not know what I would do with it yet, but I wanted to be prepared. 2 weeks after Leah left, I was starting to pull myself together. I went back to work, started eating regular meals again. Marcus checked on me every day. I filed for divorce, citing adultery and financial misconduct. Leah hired a lawyer, though. According to mine, it was not a good one. Probably all she could afford after taking that money. Then I got a call from Marcus. "Dude, you need to check Facebook right now." I opened the app. There were posts from mutual acquaintances, screenshots being shared around. Dylan's wife, Jennifer, had found out about the affair. Apparently, someone had sent her evidence. Photos of Dylan and Leah together, messages, everything. Jennifer showed up at Dylan's office and caused a massive scene, screaming in the lobby about her cheating husband and his mistress. Security had to escort her out, but the damage was done. Dylan got fired within 48 hours. His company had a strict ethics policy about relationships with vendor partners, and having an affair with one was an instant termination offense. The scandal spread through their professional circles fast. Leah's company lost the client contract because of the drama. Her boss was furious. She got demoted, lost her big projects, and was basically sidelined at work. Her career took a nosedive overnight, but it got worse for Leah. Dylan, facing divorce and unemployment, went crawling back to his wife Jennifer, begging for forgiveness, promising to end things with Leah, saying it was a mistake. Jennifer took him back on the condition that he never contacted Leah again and that they moved to another city to start fresh. Dylan agreed immediately. He blocked Leah on everything and disappeared from her life without a word. Leah was left with nothing. No relationship with Dylan, a damaged career, and now facing divorce proceedings where she had to account for the money she had taken. She moved into a tiny studio apartment because that was all she could afford. I heard all of this through the grapevine through mutual friends who were shocked by what had happened. Some of them reached out to me with sympathy. Others asked if I knew what was going on. I said very little. Just confirmed we were getting divorced. Marcus asked me if I felt satisfied seeing karma hit Leah so hard. Honestly, I did feel some sense of justice. She had blown up our marriage for a man who abandoned her. The second things got difficult. She lost her career momentum. She was alone and struggling. Karma had done its work, but I was not done yet. She still had $15,000 of our money. Money I had earned, money we had saved together for our future. A future she had thrown away, and I was going to make sure she paid for that too. My lawyer filed a motion to freeze Leah's accounts until she returned the money she had taken. We presented evidence showing the transfer happened just days before she planned to leave me, proving it was intentional theft of marital assets. Leah's lawyer tried to argue she had a right to access their joint funds, but my lawyer came prepared. We had bank statements showing that over the 5 years of our marriage, I had contributed about 80% of our household income. Leah had contributed very little to our joint expenses, preferring to keep most of her salary for her personal spending. The pattern was clear. The court ordered Leah to return the $15,000 plus damages for financial misconduct. The judge was not sympathetic to her situation. The total came to $22,000. Leah did not have that kind of money. She had to sell her car. She had to borrow money from her parents, which meant admitting to them what she had done. Her family was conservative traditional. They were humiliated by her behavior. The borrowing came with lectures and disappointment. But I was not finished. I had one more move to make. Remember Jennifer, Dylan's wife? I reached out to her through a mutual connection. I told her I was sorry for what my wife and her husband had done to both of us. I asked if she needed any additional evidence for her own divorce proceedings. She said she was actually working on reconciliation with Dylan, but she appreciated the offer. Then, I told her something she did not know. I sent her the timeline of Dylan and Leah's affair, showing that it had gone on much longer than Dylan had admitted to her. I sent her messages where Dylan talked about leaving her, where he complained about his kids being inconvenient to his lifestyle, where he said cruel things about his marriage. Jennifer's reconciliation ended immediately. She filed for divorce 2 days later, requesting full custody of the children and the majority of their assets. Dylan's lies caught up with him. He lost his family, his job, and his reputation. And he blamed Leah for everything. Mutual friends told me he had sent Leah a nasty message before Jennifer made him block her, telling her that his entire life fell apart because of her, that she ruined everything, that he wished he had never met her. Leah was completely destroyed. She had lost her marriage, her career trajectory, her money, the man she thought she loved, and her dignity. Everything she had sacrificed our relationship for turned to dust. She reached out to me a few times asking if we could talk. I ignored every message. She sent emails saying she was sorry, that she understood if I hated her, but could I please show some mercy with the financial judgment. I forwarded every email to my lawyer without responding. 3 months later, the divorce was finalized. I kept the apartment since I had paid for most of it anyway. Leah moved back to her parents' house in another state, taking a job with a much lower salary than what she used to make. Her professional reputation in our city was ruined. I heard she was miserable, isolated, and struggling. I did not feel joy hearing that. But I did not feel guilty either. People asked me if I thought I went too far, if piling on after karma had already hit her was too much. My answer was always the same. She thought karma was bad. Wait until she saw what I prepared. She didn't just cheat on me. She stole from me. She planned to leave me high and dry. She showed no remorse until she faced consequences. I simply made sure those consequences were complete. I made sure she could not walk away from what she did without fully accounting for it. That is not revenge. That is justice. The 6 months after the divorce were hard. I will not pretend I was fine immediately. I went to therapy. Twice a week at first, then once a week. I joined a support group for people going through divorce. Hearing other people's stories helped, realizing I was not alone in feeling betrayed, angry, lost. Marcus was amazing during this time. He practically moved in for a few weeks, making sure I ate, dragging me out to go hiking or play basketball, keeping me from spiraling. I threw myself into work. My focus came back, and with it came success. I got promoted to senior engineer with a significant raise. The money helped, but more than that, it felt good to have something go right. To have my effort mean something. I started cooking again, trying new recipes. I found peace in the routine of preparing meals, the precision of following instructions, the satisfaction of creating something good. Small joys started coming back into my life. I made new friends. People I met through work, through hobbies, through random encounters. I started going to a rock climbing gym, met a whole community there. We would grab food after climbing sessions, talk about life, laugh about silly things. I felt human again. I went on a few dates, nothing serious. I was not ready for anything serious. But it was nice to remember that connection with another person was still possible. A year after everything fell apart, I heard through old mutual friends that Leah was still living with her parents, working a modest job, keeping a low profile. She had no social media presence anymore. No photos, no updates. She had essentially disappeared from the life she used to live. Part of me felt something like pity, but mostly, I just felt indifferent. She was part of my past, a chapter I had closed. I realized something important during my healing process. When Leah betrayed me, I had two choices. I could either let it destroy me, or I could stand up and fight for my dignity. I chose to fight. Not with anger or hatred, but with clarity and determination. I protected my rights. I made sure she faced the full consequences of her choices. And in doing that, I reclaimed my power. I refused to be a victim. The therapy helped me understand that holding people accountable is not the same as seeking revenge. Revenge is about hurting someone because they hurt you. Accountability is about making sure people face appropriate consequences for their actions. What I did was hold Leah accountable. I used the legal system to get back what she stole. I made sure Dylan's wife knew the full truth, so she could make informed decisions about her life. I did not lie or manipulate. I just refused to protect Leah from the results of her own choices. Through all of this, I learned that karma exists, but sometimes karma needs help. Sometimes the universe does not balance the scales on its own. Sometimes you have to stand up and do it yourself, not through violence or cruelty, but through honest action, through refusing to accept being wronged quietly, through demanding what is fair and right. That is what I did. I gave karma a push, and I do not regret it for a second. I also learned about self-worth. For years, I defined myself through my relationship with Leah. I was a good husband because I made her happy, because I provided for us, because I was loyal. When she left, I felt worthless. But therapy taught me that my worth is not determined by someone else's love or loyalty. My worth is inherent. I am valuable because I am a person who tries to do right, who works hard, who treats people fairly. Leah's betrayal said everything about her character and nothing about mine. Today, I am genuinely happy. Not the fake happiness people perform on social media, but real contentment. I have good friends, a job I enjoy, hobbies that fulfill me. I have peace. I sleep well at night knowing I handled everything with integrity. I did not let anger turn me into someone I would be ashamed of. I was hurt, yes. I was angry, absolutely. But I channeled those feelings into constructive action, not destruction. Would I do anything differently if I could go back? Honestly, no. Every step I took was measured and justified. I could have done more damage if I wanted to. I could have blasted Leah's affair all over social media, ruined her reputation even further. I could have contacted her employer directly, with evidence of her misconduct. But I did not do those things because they were not necessary. The consequences she faced were proportional to her actions. That is all I wanted. Proportional consequences. Some people think what I did was cold, that I should have just taken the high road and walked away. But here is the thing about the high road that people do not talk about. Sometimes the high road means standing up for yourself. Sometimes the high road means not letting people walk all over you. Taking the high road does not mean being a doormat. It means handling difficult situations with integrity, which is exactly what I did. So here I am now, 2 years later, sitting on my balcony in the apartment that is truly mine, now watching the sunset over Portland. I have a cup of coffee in my hand, good music playing inside, and plans to meet friends for dinner in an hour. My life is small, in some ways quiet in others. But it is mine. It is authentic. It is built on truth and self-respect. And that feels better than anything I had before. To anyone out there going through something similar, here is what I want you to know. When someone betrays you, do not just sit there waiting for karma to handle it. Karma is real, but karma also needs your participation sometimes. Stand up for yourself. Protect your interests. Use the tools available to you, whether that is lawyers, honest conversations, or simply refusing to be complicit in your own mistreatment. You deserve better than betrayal. You deserve justice. And sometimes you have to create that justice yourself. Never let anyone make you feel guilty for defending yourself. Never let anyone tell you that holding people accountable is wrong. As long as you act with integrity, as long as you tell the truth, and use legitimate means, you have every right to fight back. Do not be cruel. Do not be vindictive. But absolutely, definitely, do not be a doormat. The last thing I will say is this. Pain passes. Betrayal hurts like nothing else, but it does not hurt forever. You will heal. You will grow. You will become stronger than you were before. But that strength comes from action, not passivity. It comes from deciding that your dignity matters more than someone else's comfort. It comes from looking at yourself in the mirror and knowing you stood up when it mattered. Sometimes, karma needs a little help, and I was more than happy to give it a push. So, what do you think? Did I go too far, or was what I did justified? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe so you do not miss more real-life stories like this one. Share this with someone who needs to hear that it is okay to stand up for themselves. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps someone out there find the courage to do what is right for them. Take care of yourselves, protect your peace, and never settle for less than you deserve.